Plate tectonics has revolutionized our understanding of Earth's structure and dynamics, but it remains an idealized consensus-based framework rather than a complete description of all geological phenomena. It struggles to account for intraplate earthquakes and early Archean crust formation, and there are significant ambiguities in the mechanisms driving plate motions and in short-term earthquake forecasting. Alternative geodynamic models, from Earth contraction and expansion hypotheses to surge and plume tectonics, have been proposed over the past century, yet none garnered sustained empirical support, and many are now regarded as pseudoscientific. Plate tectonics assumes that plates behave as rigid bodies except at their boundaries, making it difficult to explain why significant earthquakes occur far from plate margins. The enigma of intraplate deformation underscores gaps in how stress accumulates and is released within plate interiors, a subject still under active investigation. While plate tectonics models explain continental movements over the past 3 billion years, they do not adequately address crustal formation and geodynamic regimes during the Hadean and early Archean eons, when different thermal and compositional conditions likely prevailed. The theory posits mantle convection as the primary engine of plate motion, but the specifics of how buoyancy forces in the mantle couple to lithospheric plates remain debated. Primary, large-scale convection cells versus secondary, slab pull, basal drag mechanisms are still being quantified, and mantle flow patterns are not yet fully characterized. Despite decades of research, short-term earthquake prediction is not possible. Seismic systems are governed by nonlinear, chaotic processes with incomplete observational data, analogous to weather forecasting, but far more complex, so reliable timing of individual events eludes scientists. However, let's not forget the alternative theories of earthquakes which are non-consensus-based. In the early 20th century, Earth contraction theory, attributed to planetary cooling, was the prevailing explanation for mountain building and earthquakes. It eventually failed to reconcile observations of continental fit and paleomagnetic data, stimulating the search for new models. Proponents of expanding Earth theory argued that a gradual increase in Earth's volume drove continental separation. Once considered seriously, the hypothesis lost traction with precise geodetic measurements and plate reconstructions, and is now classified as pseudoscience. The pulsating Earth theory model envisioned cyclic alternation between expansion and contraction on scales of hundreds of millions of years. Although mathematically intriguing, it lacked robust geological or geophysical evidence and was overshadowed by plate tectonics. Surge tectonics proposed that narrow channels of mantle flow beneath the lithosphere provide basal drag on plates, while plume tectonics invoked fixed deep mantle upwellings, superplumes, as the principal drivers of plate motion. Both frameworks address certain volcanic chain and breakup phenomena, but haven't replaced the broad explanatory power of plate tectonics. Moreover, fringe geodynamic concepts, such as the cosmic expansion model and Wang Shenkun's earthquake gas explosion theory, attempt to derive seismicity from extraterrestrial or endogenous gas dynamics, but lack reproducible data and theoretical rigor. Jim Birkeland's method of predicting earthquakes based on lunar and solar alignments, seismic windows, has been statistically debunked. Analyses show no significant correlation between SIGI and earthquake occurrence, rendering it unreliable. Also, a concept that faults produce quasi-periodic, characteristic earthquakes and predictable seismic gaps was popular until large events. Example 2004 Sumatra and 2011 Tohoku violated those assumptions. Rigorous statistical tests have led seismologists to abandon these simplistic cycle models. In summary, plate tectonics remains the most robust, empirically supported framework for interpreting Earth's seismic and tectonic behavior, yet it is incomplete in several areas, most notably intraplate dynamics, early Earth evolution, and earthquake predictability. Historical and modern alternative theories underscore the complexity of geodynamic processes, but have not provided a unifying, data-driven substitute. Ongoing research in geophysics, high-resolution imaging of the mantle, and improved monitoring holds promise for refining and extending the plate tectonic paradigm.